Welcome to the Ska History Hour with your host, Daryl Rubio, wherein the purpose of this channel is to spread awareness of ska music and its subgenres to the world. We have a special co-host today, Mr. Mikey Rude from that ska radio program, that same old show from Hawaii. Mikey, thank you for joining us on this show to be our special co-host.
Aloha, mahalo, no problem. Glad to do it. One of my favorite bands. I love talking to these guys. They're very super cool. So I'm excited to be here, man.
That's great. So am I. Our guests today are Nick and Benny with the Boy Detective from southeastern Michigan. What actual
That's right.
city is that you live in?
Oh man, multiple. I'm currently in Dundee, Michigan. Benny is in Ida. I think Jared and Seth live in Ypsilanti. Emily also lives in Ida. Chad lives in Milan. No, technically Monroe County, but still Milan. It's kind of a weird area here. And Zach lives in Detroit. Ricky lives in Brighton. So we're kind of all over southeastern Michigan. So that's probably the best.
We practice in Ida, so we'll just
but we do practice in Ida. Kind of Ypsi, Ann Arbor is probably the easiest way to centralize all of us.
Got it. Right on. Well, we appreciate the time you guys are taking to speak with us, to share your stories and your music with the ska type community. Yeah. Can you please each tell us a little bit about yourselves and your role in the band?
Hi, I'm Benny. I am the lead singer, or how I always put it, the lead detective of the Boy Detective. I am also a fourth generation funeral director / embalmer here in Ida, Michigan with my family firm. I am a certified death doula as well. I do public speaking on death and loss and grief. I also am currently in school to get my master's in social work, so I can also do therapy on top of everything that I'm doing. I am also a very happily married man. I married my high school sweetheart, and we have two beautiful children. So I'm a husband and dad, and that kind of answers everything about me. On to Nick.
Yeah, hi, I'm Nick. I play guitar and do backup vocals in the Boy Detective. I am a Sagittarius. I like long walks on the beach. I like it when Benny holds my hand. I work in IT. I lead a team of software developers up in Michigan. I have a wife and kids, two sons, Newton and Rockwell. They're 11 and 8, and they're awesome. I'm trying to think what else I do, but that's it. I am not a death doula.
Okay. He does like rom-coms, though. Really likes rom-coms.
that I do.
That's great.
I do.
Is that for real?
Yeah, that's real.
Oh yeah, no, it's
right. Well, let's hear. So whip out some rom-com. Which ones?
Okay, I will tell you that like some of my favorites are the teen rom-coms of the late early 2000s, late 90s. So like She's All That, 10 Things I Hate About You. Those are my favorite. I read a lot of rom-com books. The genre's gotten stale to me lately, but because I feel like there's 3 plots, but I love them.
Right.
I read me and my wife have our little book club, we call it, but we read a lot. So it covers a lot of genres. It's not all romantic comedies. Right now I'm reading Recursion, and I can't remember who wrote it, but it's this insane sci-fi time travel book. But so I read a lot of books, but a lot of them are rom-coms. I like rom-com movies. We just watched The Materialists, which was fine. That's my official review.
Are you a Hallmark Channel guy during the holidays too?
I am not. No. I've tried because I was like, I'll like this, and then I get so bored. So yeah, I think I really like the calm aspect more than the rom.
Mm-hmm.
But having a good balance is
pretty sweet.
It's kind of what I'm looking for. But most of those aren't very good.
Some of the older ones, most
of those are not really good. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I was going to say most of those are really good.
Yeah, no. How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days is awesome.
Yeah.
I quote that one all the time.
Yeah.
That one, I'm going to make you wish you were dead. It's one of my favorites, just to mutter under my breath.
So you guys started, what, in 2021, was it? Or 22?
So technically, Nick and I have been playing in bands together since about, I think we were close to like 2012 is when we kind of, maybe even a little
No, it was
before,
earlier than that. It was like
2010. Oh my God.
it was earlier than that. No, because it was like 2007. I was in a band. We needed a vocalist. Someone suggested Benny, and our bands had played together for several years before that, so we kind of knew each other. And he was friends with the guitarist in my band, and he said, "Let's try Benny out." I said, "Okay, cool." So Benny came over, and I think we were recording just in a basement, and he came over and just like recorded a song. And we're like, "Do you want to do this?" He's like, "Yeah." That band probably wasn't very good, but it let us hear. We became pretty quick friends out of that, and we've been kind of jamming with each other on and off, but mostly on for almost 20 years now, Benny. That's insane.
That's crazy. But the boy detective technically started in like 2017. Would have been like when we actually like started. And when we started, and Nick, feel free to leave anything to say. We started as a recording thing. Like we both were starting our journeys of having children. So on top of both being married and figuring that lifestyle out, we were also figuring out this whole being dads and still wanting to write music. But the problem is like we don't have time to play shows. We don't have time to get a band together and practice. But what we can do is this is really what it is. So, yeah. Nick can write all the music and basically, hey Benny, can you put some vocals down here? And so we got together. I when we first started, I did play bass. I did do
when we started the Boy Detective,
and then
Benny played bass, I played guitar, and we kind of programmed drums in the recording. Or I played live drums on Dorcas Malorcas, and they did not sound good because just the recording technique and the way that just a lot of it didn't come out as good as we wanted. So I ended up programming to or using samples to replace all of the actual drums that didn't sound good, because we recorded them in an attic with like $200 total worth of microphones. I don't know. We were trying some shit and just having fun. My blood sugar's high.
Let's talk about those rom-coms. But you know, honestly, what we did was we started a recording progress, and then we got Dorcas down, and we were like, well, these are actually pretty good. And what was interesting was, I think on Dorcas, I Used to Think You Were Cute was really the quintessential ska song that we had on it. And I remember a conversation of him and I talking about like, maybe we should write some more ska songs, because both of us are ska punk fans. Like for me, Suicide Machines, I know for Nick, and Less Than Jake was kind of his like big, like that would be really cool to do like a Less Than Jake kind of thing. And we were already kind of doing it. Like it was already starting to kind of happen. And then we were like, oh, well, maybe now that the kids were getting older and not like we had to like take shifts with our wives anymore, you know, where you get through that period where you're not worried that they're going to like literally stop breathing in their crib. We decided like, oh, maybe it'd be cool to try to get a band together. I don't know if we were really thinking like we were going to have actual shows or anything, but it was more like, can we actually get a band together and see what that looks like? So we found a drummer who was actually a guitarist, but he always kind of wanted to pick up drums. And so he started with Nick and I. And then from there, it was like, let's try to get horns. And then we had the very, 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 very lucky thing of whenever Nick and I have needed something, it's kind of materialized some way, form, or shape. Mm-hmm. In fact, when we just wanted one horn, we got 2 horns out of it. You know, these 2 best friends that are still in our band today, Jared and Seth, came together. They were like, yeah, we can come, but can we bring our friend too? Yeah, absolutely. Like we had a horn section without asking for a horn section. And then you know, we're going to talk about this, Daryl. I know we kind of talked about this before we started recording, but just the ska scene in general, like there is so many band kids that have always wanted to be in a punk band, and they just are waiting for the right punk band to ask them or something similar, you know. Mm-hmm. I remember in high school, a lot of like the band kids that were at my school were like, man, it would be so cool to be in a ska band, but there's no ska bands around, or the ones that are around aren't so good.
There was though. One of the only ska bands in our area was from Ida.
That is true. We did have a local
The early 2000s. Yeah.
ska band that's still together today called Texas
Yeah.
Pete and the Revolutions. So they were here, and like Nick and I kept it going. Like Dorcas became like these songs from band from the bathtub started coming out, and really, to be frank, that kind of was like the album that got us some notoriety. You know, even to the point of I remember we would play a lot of shows in Ypsi and Toledo at that point, and we were playing one show at Ypsilanti, and this girl stops me in the middle of the pit after we're done. Basically, it's just like, "Hey, I just want you to know, I was at a party in a cornfield the other day, and they were playing the band from the bathtub, and it was the coolest thing ever." And I'm like, only in Michigan would kids be having a party in a cornfield, listening to the Boy Detective. So anybody who has cornfields out by them, please put on band from the bathtub and enjoy yourself.
Yeah, I don't know if we're like what kind of time limit we're under. That was a really like condensed, that skipped over kind of the whole pandemic, and that skipped over the whole recording process. Not that you're like telling it badly, but I just don't know if we're under like any.
No, bring it on,
how
man.
deep do you want to get in?
Bring it on. How deep
All
do you
right.
want to go?
Oh, okay. Well, so we finished the Dorcas Malorcas back in like 2017, 18. We finished mixing it. It took forever. We were in no hurry. We were just like, this is kind of what we'll do. We had these songs, and we put it out, and then we were like, well, these are actually pretty good. Like Ben said, we should maybe let's put together a three-piece band. We just need a drummer, because that was the point, is that all those songs are written to be like a three-piece like power punk band or power trio. And as we went through, we contacted my friend Brett, who just posted a picture on his Instagram that he bought a drum set. I was like, hey, you want to play? And he goes, well, give me some chance to get my chops up. And so a couple months later, he messaged me and he goes, hey, I'm ready. And I'm like, oh yeah, I kind of forgot. Let's do it. So he had a cool practice space. So we kind of just started heading over there and jamming every once in a while. And then like almost immediately, America shut down. The world shut down, frankly, for the pandemic. Mm-hmm. So we spent several months not getting together. When we did, it was like we stayed so far apart in this big barn he could practice in. But we kind of just put this together and slowly learned these songs. And one day he messaged us. He goes, hey, I recorded this drum part. Do you guys want to like lay the guitars over the top of it? And we were like, oh, that's something we can do. So he had recorded drums just by himself. He goes, hey, I recorded the drums for this song we've been working on. We're like, oh, fuck yeah. So he had kind of just started setting it. And so we would go over there and stay distant from each other. And we recorded this album, did the artwork, put it out, and it was pretty cool. And we were like, well, it all has, as I was writing, all of the songs slowly became more ska. And to the point where I was like, these bass parts are kind of crazy. They're impossible to sing and play. I'm sure someone could do it. Roger could probably do it. Ben or I could not do it. So we kind of started like figuring how we'd put this band together. So we got my friend Alex came in, who was a guitarist by trade, but had played bass in several bands with me. So he came in and played bass. And then we put up an ad on Craigslist to say, well, let's try to do it. We got this solid base of a band now. Ben moved to vocals. Alex was playing bass. I was playing guitar. Brett was playing drums. So we put an ad on Craigslist. They just said like ska punk band looking for horns. We don't care. Like we weren't looking for like a saxophone and alto. Like we weren't looking at anything specific. We just said like, hey man, we just kind of want some horns. And so I think Jared and my friend's wife had said, hey, I play trumpet. I'll come hang out. So she was like set to come by one day. And then Jaredin responded to our Craigslist ad because one of his friends found it and pointed it to him. So he messaged me on Facebook and he's like, yeah. And I think I said, oh, this is, he tells this story all the time. He goes, you messaged me and you said, yeah, I'm working on a Brooks and Dunn cover. Here it is. And that was when he was like, yeah, I kind of want to jam with these guys. It was a really weird cover of Boot Scoot and Boogie that we played for the first like year and a half. We were a band. Don't ask me to play it anymore. It worked kind of.
It's too sexy.
Yeah, it works too well. So he goes, hey, my friend plays sax. He went to college with me for this, and he wants to come too. And I said, bring him. So he showed up, and this is right when restrictions were starting to lift, where we started to be able to actually put together. and I, not to be like cynical or anything, but I think that might have kind of helped us because we had just had this thing where people were like, we want to go to shows again. And so we said, I think it was April of 22 was our first official show where we put together a show, and it like we had never played, and it sold out, this venue in Toledo that we liked. And it was just like, oh, this rocks. Like this is fun as hell. So we played like that for a long time. And that was with band. We were playing all band stuff, some of the new stuff. And then we started writing, I say together, I still wrote most of the songs, but kind of let everyone else do their own thing. Ricky joined, and Alex, we were going to move him to guitar because he was a guitar player. We needed a second guitar player, and Ricky's a really good bassist, as you guys can all hear. He's a current bassist, and he's the best musician in the band. But Alex had a whole like crazy life. His job is insane. He works for the railroad. He's like a supervisor at the railroad. So he works like 12-hour days. He would come to shows and just be like dead, and he goes like, guys, I can't do this. And he kind of just said, this is cool. He bowed out. So we kind of just went on our way from there. But we, with that lineup, including a girl named Rhiannon, who was with us for a little while, we recorded Art Theft. We had written and recorded Art Theft. We recorded that with our friend Steve down in Toledo at I think it's Matt Carricus from Citizens Studio down in Toledo. And our friend Steve recorded it, and those songs came out really, really good. We got through that, but the recording process was kind of fraught. There were some tensions. So eventually we parted ways with the drummer. And that was kind of as the Art Theft was releasing and people started noticing us, and we kind of were like, well, we had this a couple dates where we were on a run, a small run with Escape from the Zoo for a couple days, and we said, well, we need a drummer. So Zach agreed to jam with us for those shows. Or no, sorry, Gabe filled in for those shows. We had a fill-in drummer for those shows. I'm like all over the place. I feel like I'm
You're doing
over
great.
a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But we had a fill-in drummer for those shows, and people started realizing, oh, this is a real band. This is a real band that's like playing cool shows.
Mhm.
These songs are good. And then so we had talked to Zach, because during one of those Escape from the Zoo shows, we played with his other band, B Plot. And B Plot they just broke up. I think recently they just went on not broke up, but they went on a hiatus, I guess is the word. But they are musically so much better than any band you've ever. They are bananas. They're like if like Lagwagon was harder and faster and weird. Like they're fucking. They sound like Bigwig. They sound like early Bigwig and like that era of punk, but they're bananas good. And Zach, we were like, oh, Zach could very easily play what we're gonna ask him to play. So we asked him, and he said, yeah, I can jam for a little bit. And it very quickly, I think he realized this is a lot of fun, and we really got along with him. Like we clicked, and he fits the band so well, the vibe, everything. So that kind of cemented our lineup. But then Rhiannon kind of like left and we don't know why, but she left. Doesn't matter. And then Emily joined. So Rhiannon's last show was Emily's first. Is that how that worked?
I think that's correct.
Yeah, and that just kind of like.
So
that
they
was
overlapped on a show?
Yeah, they overlapped. So they overlapped on a couple shows. Emily jammed with us for a couple shows, but I think her first official one was with Save Ferris in Detroit, and that was Emily's last show. Or not Emily, Rhiannon's last show.
Yeah.
I need to like I say I need to write this down. I have this whole Wikipedia page that I personally keep updated for us.
We've been a band for officially like 3 years, but we already have like a band that's been together for 45 years. This story.
Yeah.
But it comes with the territory of having 7 or 8 members at a time, you know.
Yeah. I'm gonna listen to this and realize I forgot a whole era,
It's
but
okay.
that was kind of Art Theft through, and then so as we've started playing bigger and bigger shows, more people have taken notice. Benny has been amazing at like reaching out to people, and we pushed it to the point where we went down to Gainesville to Moat House and recorded with Roger from Less Than Jake, which was like a major ass bucket list item for me because they are one of my top 5 favorite bands. They were I think the second show I ever saw was The Impossibles, Newfound Glory, and Less Than Jake. And if you are looking for a show that changed my life, that's it 100%, because every one of those bands is still some of my favorite bands. I have a Newfound Glory lyric tattooed across my chest.
What year was that? That
That
show?
was 2000, maybe 99.
Yeah, because if you're talking
So
about the
yeah,
Impossibles from Texas, they
yeah,
ended around that time.
yeah. Well, this would have been their they had put out Enter Return on Fueled by Ramen. They were touring to support that. So I think it was probably 2000.
Got it. Got it. And you guys have you were talking about Dorcas Malorcas as one of your releases.
Yeah.
Banned from the Bathtub 2021, Art Theft 24, Exhibition, which is Banned from the Bathtub and Art Theft combined, 2025, and the newest release, Disco Lunch.
Yes.
Can you guys describe the sound of your band?
Oh man. Chaos. uh I'm honestly like
A lot of chaos.
Yeah, it's hard to pin down. We are definitely not a traditional ska band, though we do have some very little traditional ska. There's so little like reggae in our music. We don't really do that. We are pretty solidly a ska core band that does a lot of power pop songs. um so yeah, so it veers. I think the first song starts with like a real like Madness style, like kind of ska-ish intro into this like just a kind of a hardcore screamy breakdown. The second song's just a hardcore song, like straight up about how getting old sucks. The second song is the most power pop song you'll ever hear. Like we have a song called Replacement, and it is that title just stuck around because I named it because it sounds like Can't Hardly Wait by the Replacements. That's what when I wrote it, I wanted a song that sounded like that.
Yeah.
So that's what those horns are doing in Replacement, and that's why it's called Replacement. And we also did that with the cover art for that is a rip off of Pleased to Meet Me by the Replacements. So yes, very into power pop, very into hardcore, very into like punk. So it's kind of reflected in a lot of this. I'm trying to think what other genres we hit on.
So, and I got to give Nick here a lot of credit because he's not going to do it. Nick is very meticulous about how he writes music. He has an idea of something that has changed his life that he heard that he likes to incorporate and sprinkle into the music.
Mm-hmm.
I always say, like, if you liked any style of like pop punk or ska or emo or hardcore or any of that was going on in the late 90s, early 2000s, Nick is putting it in these songs. So I think in some ways we're cheating without cheating, because the idea is like we're already giving you stuff that you already like, and Nick just has a master way of like incorporating it and making it its own. Like every one of the songs that even like Art Theft was based on the idea that we're thieving a lot of artists that we love, but Nick still had a way to make it very Boy Detective-y. He found a way to like still have a signature, because all of our songs still have some sort of like signature to them. I wish I could put it better words than that, but you can hear a Boy Detective song and be like, that's definitely the Boy Detective at this point, which is kind of really neat because we really haven't been around that long. I mean, Nick and I have been playing, like he's saying. I started singing in my first band in 2003, so I've been doing this for a very, very long time. I know Nick's been doing this even longer than me. But what we found so attractive about this was like the idea that we can incorporate all these, because like Nick and I have very, very similar taste in music. And as much as Nick is a reader, I'm also a reader. So Nick and I actually will trade books to each other. Literally going down to Gainesville, we listened to an audiobook the whole way there and the whole way back, which was awesome.
Wedding People.
It was a great book. It kept us entertained. The problem was I kept falling asleep, and Nick's like, I set this up so we can listen to this whole damn book. You got to wake up.
Ben, we are finishing as we pull into the driveway. You can't fall asleep anymore.
So, but honestly, our sound is kind of like, it's interesting when I actually get the chance to like be present in the moment. It is like everything that I fell in love with growing up in the punk scene, we are doing now in the Boy Detective. And I got to give Nick a lot of credit because he has a way of doing it where you're not quite sure what the hell the Boy Detective is going to do next, but you know you're gonna get off your ass, you're gonna start dancing around. The other thing too, our as much as our songs are really good recordings, it's our live show that really sets us apart differently from most bands that you're going to ever come across in the ska punk scene. Our show is bonkers. And every one of our musicians is crazy and likes to do their own thing. And it is like a fucking madhouse because viewers, I love watching people that haven't seen us yet because they don't know where to look. Am I supposed to watch the people that are on stage? Am I supposed to watch the singer that he's never on stage? Am I supposed to be like, what am I supposed to do here? And so it's like, even like, and somehow, this is the craziest thing, Daryl and Mikey, the mature ska bands that Nick and I fell in love with years ago, for some reason think that we're writing some pretty good music right now and want us to be a part of that, which is incredible because I'm watching in their eyes, them watching us like, oh, I remember my first beer. You know what I mean? Like these kids are having fun. And, you know, I know Nick and I are not kids, but we still are kids in their eyes. And it's been an amazing journey. And the ska scene is so incredibly inclusive. They're so loving and they're so nurturing, specifically to bands that care. The other thing too about our band is very, very in sync with how we feel about the world and how we feel about life. And like we're very, very, it's a dysfunctional family, but it's in the best way possible, if that makes any sense whatsoever.
It does.
It does totally. Yeah.
I think I finally, if you listen to like, so I have this extensive like Google Drive where I like keep demos that I make. And I think I finally pushed the band past where they're comfortable. Like I wrote a complete like black metal song. And I think everyone was like, I don't think that's us. And I'm like, I think we could do it. But no, there's so many like there's, like I said, there's a fucking black metal song in there. There's we have a version of a song that opens with the intro to Hammer Smashed Face by Cannibal Corpse, but with horns, and it's insane. And I really want to like make sure we do that. I don't know if we'll ever record it, but it's insane. So like I said, but it's hard. I don't know what the band won't let me do. Like as far as writing songs, as far as like going into different genres and going to different like we wrote a fucking like warrant style like ballad the other day. Like it's all piano, and I'm like, can we do this? They're like, fuck yeah. And I'm like, okay, let's go. I could do. There's no genre that we can't like, but like Benny said, it's all gonna sound like The Boy Detective eventually. And I have the more I write songs, the more I have 100% faith in that it's like, yeah, cool, this is just gonna, no matter what we do, no matter what genre we try to veer the PT Cruiser into, it's gonna sound like Boy Detective. So
and it's getting real response. Like that's the other thing too. Like it's a wonderful ride, and it's also wonderful that we aren't the stereotypical ska band. And the reason being is because we can play with hardcore bands, we can play with punk bands. We're a masterpiece that somehow is working. And it's amazing, and it's an amazing journey. And you know, it's like being on the show with you guys. Like you guys are on different parts of this whole United States that we're talking about ska, you know. And,
yeah.
And it's and Nick and I are just blessed to have some sort of a like we earned a badge to have like the ska badge on our, like, you know, like,
yeah, after being in bands for so many years that no one gave a shit about. this is weird.
Now with your new album Disco Lunch, do you think that's most representative of your sound?
I really do. Yeah. This one had a lot more, like I said, I opened this album with 2 much harder songs than we normally play. Because I think it's somewhere, what's the the Lifetime record, the one that opens with not Turnpike Gates, that's the other one. I do this every interview and I try to think of this.
Is this Danurism?
Danurism. So Danurism by Lifetime was side A, track 1 on a Lifetime record, and their first record was kind of like this slow, sludgy, like 90s hardcore. You're like, oh, this is kind of boring, this isn't very good. And then their second album just fucking rips your face off right out of the gate. Just completely changed. And it's just like, I want that. I want that song to open up a Boy Detective album. I want to
Mhm.
sound like fucking Lifetime, just coming out of the gate as fast as they could go.
Yeah.
Which is why Haunted House is there. We have like kind of the intro track into Haunted House. But yeah, so like this album sounds like What We Do Live. I don't know how, but What We Do Live is a lot faster.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, yeah.
so this is a funny, so we sent Roger when we were demoing, and we sent him all of these demos, but we did all of the demos live. So the demos were like 10 to 15 beats per minute faster than what the songs were supposed to be. But he didn't know that. So when we were like, "Oh, hey, those aren't the right tempos." He was like, "No, those other tempos are way too slow." And we're like, "Okay." So Disco Lunch is also, that lends the fact that it's 25 minutes long, but all those songs are so much faster than they were originally supposed to be.
Mm.
But yeah, this record sounds like us in a room, us playing. It sounds like us, and it's amazing. I'm super proud of it.
I was going to ask how the music's changed since Art Theft, because I got hooked on you or turned on you guys during Art Theft,
Hell yeah.
and then Exhibition where you put the two albums together. How has your music changed now that you've done Disco Lunch?
Yeah, I think we got heavier. I know we did. But I say we kind of just, it kind of expanded in all directions. Like there's not nearly as much like I said, Beth Truss is a pure like power pop song.
Love
Like
it.
we tried very hard to get like the Cars guitar tone in that. Like
Mm.
that, and that is something that we never really, we leaned into a little bit on old stuff, but that expanded. There's like two or three of those. There's Two Dad Two Worse is a reimagining of a song we did on Dorcas Malorcas, but the Dorcas Malorcas was like a 3/4 waltz technically, and we were really trying to sound like Pinkerton era Weezer with that. um and so we reworked it into like a Jeff Rosenstock style like party rock song. So like we have just kind of expanded what those, I feel like Art Theft was kind of not narrow, but not narrow in any way, but like a little narrower in scope as to like what genres we could fuck around with. And I feel like Art Theft really expanded what we could do with
You mean
that.
Disco Lunch expanded?
Disco Lunch. Sorry, am I saying Art
Yeah,
Theft?
yeah.
Yeah, Disco Lunch.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you. Keep me.
Yeah.
I'm
No,
on
and
3 hours of sleep.
from what you've been telling me, I can kind of hear that as well.
Yeah, I'm glad.
And how did
But yeah,
Roger come into the mix? Mix.
I'll let-
Mix.
I'll let
So
Ben-
so this is what I give to the band, which is I will find a way. So, Nick and I talked about what label. Like, are we at that point where maybe we should start looking at labels and figuring that out? So, like, I literally wrote detective stories to labels, like about this old detective that's looking to get his band on a label and all this jazz. And yeah, I'm sure Mike from Bad Time probably still has his email somewhere in his thing. And Brandon too. But Brandon not only responded to me, but he had his own story. You can check that out. Otherwise, it was really cool. We actually had like 3 or 4 correspondences back and forth about this story, and nothing about getting together and talking about the label, which was brilliant. And I loved.
Yeah.
But so like I have been the person that's like, I'm going to take the chance. I'm going to do the thing that you're not supposed to do. I'm going to do it. And if worst comes to worst, they're going to say no, or they're not going to respond. Right. That's the world we live in. That's really the no now, is they just don't respond.
Mhm.
They don't give you the time of day.
Yep.
So I was like, at the time we had a show where we got to play with Joker's Republic, and they just came out with Necessary Evil. And all of us who listened to it were like, this sounds really, really good. And then come to find out, Roger recorded and produced it, and Eric Taft mixed and mastered. And so I was like, Nick, how cool would it be? I mean, this is never going to happen, but how cool would it be if we can get Roger to record our album? And Nick's like, you could try, Benny. I think my band, sometimes when I say things, they're like, yeah, well, yeah, whatever. And then now it's like, holy shit, like we got to be careful what Benny starts thinking about.
Yeah, we gotta
kind of come into
we gotta unleash him
It's
only
bold.
at certain times.
The John Feldmans of the world, if you're listening, like, if you give us a chance, that'd be cool. So I was like, I reached out to Austin. I was like, hey man, who's the lead singer of Jokers, the guitarist, and I was like, hey, how did you guys? Is this like? Did you have to like call him? Do you know him? Are you guys buds? And he's like, he literally was like, no, we just like wrote him on social media. And I'm like, oh, it's that easy. So then I'm like, okay, how many channels can I write the same message to Roger? Like, because you have Mode House, then you have Roger Zone, and then you got Less Than Jake's, and then you got, so they probably got 12 messages from me.
Mhm.
Sorry, Chris and all them, JR, that had to deal with all that. And then it literally was the Mode House email. I literally got one back that was like, hey, yeah, I know who you guys are. I came across, I don't remember what song, or probably Earth Theft. And he was like, yeah, can you send me some demos and we'll see where it goes. That was the first conversation. And I think we sent him the live demos, and literally he was like, yeah, this sounds cool. He was like, can we do this in like June or something? And so the band gets together, because there's 7 of us, and we're like, okay, we're getting all of our work schedules out, because we have a Google calendar we all work off. And we're like, oh, June will be perfect. We'll get all this time, blah, blah, blah. So
Yeah, we were
literally
operating under that assumption.
literally like a month later, he's like, yeah, the only time I got is April.
Wow.
That's 2 months earlier. And he was like, and it's the beginning of April. So we're talking 3 months now. We gotta like, so like we're scrambling, and like, can we do this? And is it worth it? And Roger made a comment to me. He was like, I'm gonna be honest with you, you guys already have the songs kind of crafted. Like, I don't know how much I can actually do for you, and I would hate for you guys to come all the way to Gainesville, pay me this money for me just to record and not necessarily produce, because I wouldn't be doing much, because you guys seem to know what you kind of want. And we all talked. We're like, no, we want Roger to do this. We want his name on it. We want to be able to have this experience, to go down there and get to basically be in the same presence of a god to Nick and I, of the old times. And so we did it. We made it work. We went down there. The way that we made it work was really funny, and he talks about it on Sky Gazine's episode, if you listen to that. But basically, the idea was Zach went by himself, did drums. Then Ricky went by himself, did bass. Nick went by himself, did guitars, and then I came with the horns. And so we did horns and vocals together. And poor Nick not only had to do guitar, but he had to stay for the vocals as well. So yeah, and that's how we did it. And it was wonderful. And I remember us having a conversation before we left, and we were like, okay, if Roger asks us to do something, we're gonna do it. Like, leave your ego at the door. Like, let's give somebody an opportunity. We've never had this experience where we have a producer, like, he knows what he wants to sound, what us to sound like. And he's incredible to work with. He's very easy to work with. In my opinion, a lot, there were some conversations we would have, but we never argued about it, really anything. And then, yeah. And he told Nick off, and that was wonderful. And I love that. Nick said something. He was like, oh, I thought, like, are you the lead singer of the band, or is Benny the lead singer of the band? And I was just like, hell yeah, Roger. Woo! I get my win every once in a while, because in fairness, like, going back to what I said, Nick crafts these songs. So every little note or every little like stanza of a verse has a reason behind it. So like, I am just changing something. Like, I'm just editing something. For Nick, it's like, you are stomping on my daisies. Like, you need to kind of like, so like, but like, Nick was like, we all were really cool about it. And I mean, the product speaks for itself. The big thing that I think Roger really helped us was conduct the horns in a way that we've never been able to quite accomplish, and get the best out of them. And really, because Emily at this point was still kind of new to this, and she's never experienced like the whole recording process and all this. So I'm sure she was quite nervous as well. Nick and I are nervous just being in a room with this gentleman. I can't imagine. But anyways, yeah. So it was a really good. Roger did a great job. And then we had Eric Taft do the mixing and mastering. Eric Taft also did the mixing and mastering for Jokers too. But that's honestly, Necessary Evil is what really turned on the idea that like, oh, it's possible for us to do this too. Maybe if he thinks we're as good. I don't know. We had no idea, right? He could have hated our music for all we know. Yeah. But yeah, we had the experience. We did the 10 songs, and it was great.
Yeah, I've noticed that there's a lot of the older guys in the ska bands that are doing that, because I know the Eddie from Voodoo also does a
Yeah.
lot of produces a lot of the ska core bands out here. So he's in the studio, and so they're starting to share their talents with the younger generation because these bands have been around 30, 40 years,
Yeah.
and so
Yeah,
they're starting to do that, which is
didn't
really
Eddie talk about that when you interviewed him?
yes, we
Yeah,
have to talk about
I'm
that. Yeah,
pretty sure he did.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think what's his name does it too. Frank, the singer, also does it,
Mm.
but Eddie does most of it, the guitarist.
Yeah, well, they have so much experience of like going in there and like
Mhm.
they had that different timing too, where like they were allowed to be in like a studio situation for a month. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas like, God, that would be nice, Nick, wouldn't it?
Yeah, to not have to
Yeah,
stagger.
they have the capital to be able to do it. But the thing is like, but like Roger was saying, like I was he was the person that was watching the guy at the board. He was like, I was fascinated by that. I was fascinated by like how different like mic arrangements were by different producers.
Mhm.
Mm.
So they've learned their own tricks. And it's what we wanted. We wanted, it was so funny because I know some people have said it like it definitely has that Less Than Jake feel to it, which was an incredible compliment, I think, to Nick and I for what we're really trying to accomplish. Specifically, Nick, who is writing hardly writing, who was working really hard to write this. The big thing about Disco Lunch too is Disco Lunch it was the first time we all kind of got to spread our wings more. Art Theft in band specifically, Nick kind of crafted, and then like we kind of like added our little touches. Not saying we didn't add things to it, but like Disco Lunch was a little bit more like Nick gave us
band
the bones, basically.
effort.
Like
Yeah.
this is it, and then like Ricky would send in his bass lines, and they were just incredible. And then Zach would send in like, okay, I'm going to do this, or I'm going to change this, and so like everybody got a lot more like opportunity to throw themselves into it. And what that's crazy. That's the idea that 7 members can take what Nick's giving and still make it boy detective-y, like I say. Like we don't stray away really from it, but it I have noticed a huge difference of like the bass lines in this album are just incredible, and Zach's drums, and just I'm very proud of my band for this album. I think this album, as of today, is the best representation of the Boy Detective. I think it's got the most live sound or feel that we give you, and it's batshit insane for a ska punk band to release an album like this.
Yeah. And you briefly touched earlier, I believe, on some shows that you played a little in Michigan, but a little bit outside your area this past weekend. I think Nick was talking about that. I believe you guys also played with The Loyal, right? This past weekend?
Yeah. They played with us in Toledo, yeah.
Yeah, in Toledo. Okay. Well, what are the other bands that you guys played with?
So on this tour, actually, we took a band out with us for 3 of the 4 nights called Saban.
Mhm.
They're from Cleveland, and they're a group of very young. I think they're like 16. I think several of them are at least in high
They're like
school.
at the end of high school. They're like in the
Yeah.
last couple years
Okay.
of
But they have such like showmanship and just like above their age. Like they seem like they've been doing this for a long time. They have such a good show. They were fun. They were a lot of fun to have on our shows. It was a great experience for them, to be taken on a tour. Not like we're like mentors or whatever, but I wish someone would have given me that cool opportunity as a young kid in a punk band.
Mhm.
So Thursday night was Saban, The Loyal, Frank White from Detroit was another really good like ska influenced punk band. Dads on Couches, which is a kind of a newer punk band with Benny's brother, and brothers, and then us for that one. The next night was a band called Reckless Rhythm, which is like a street punk band. I think they're from Kalamazoo, but it was in Kalamazoo at least. And then Dance Contraption, which is like like a Western Michigan like punk band, Grand Rapids based. So that was a lot of fun. The next night was I'm gonna get this wrong, Dead Hang, Bad Mouth, who are like both kind of punk bands. The Write Ups, in addition to Saban. Am I missing someone there?
Oh, that's it.
No.
And the Write Ups are a ska band.
Yeah, the Write Ups are ska band out of Flint.
Ska band out of Flint. Yeah, Flint. Yeah.
You guys have a lot of different genres there.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites thing is like an all ska show would be fun, but like not as fun as mixing it up a little more.
Right.
And we, also are not an all ska band. Like, yeah,
Mhm.
we have horns almost. Some songs don't do ska at all.
Well, you
Like,
said it earlier. You can be on a bill with punk. You can be on a bill with ska. You could be on a
Yeah.
bill with hardcore. So
yeah, and I really like that's kind of how my brain works. But yeah, so then Friday night was our label mates middle out in addition to Saban and Dads on Couches again. So
Nice.
but yeah, Saban rules. If you get a chance to check them out, they're like a really fun group of very young kids. And then
we
middle
got to
outs
play-
are yeah.
Middle out there, label mates. Sorry, Nick, I didn't mean to jump on you, but we got to play a basement show, and that's sick.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
oh yeah.
So
Nick,
you
I
did,
was-
you did the booking, Benny? I'm sorry, Mikey.
That's okay. Go ahead, finish that, and then I'll ask my question.
Okay, sorry. Did you do the booking, Benny?
I do sadly all the booking, and it is harder. It is harder than it should be. I'll be honest with you. We have a good problem, but it's the opposite problem that I would want. We get asked to play shows all the time, so like getting shows is not a problem. The problem is when we're hosting shows. It like, for instance, this like the original plan was to do like Detroit, Columbus, Chicago, Milwaukee, like do like a little circle around there, right?
Mm.
And Chicago was the hardest thing. And it's so funny because like I talk to all of our friends that are in bands are like, dude, Chicago's like the easiest place to get in. Like, not for me. Like I would either get like we're full or we have this night but not that night, or they always say like we can't do that night but 2 weeks later we can do it, and I'm like, okay, but that's not, like I'm literally telling you we're trying to do like a 4-day thing, like I thank you but I can't. So so it just didn't work out. It sucked because we had like a couple places say they would, but then they would flip, and then but it was like so tough, like we couldn't get, and that's
You
the
should just
big
call
thing.
Chuck. Call Chuck Wren. He'll help you out.
Whom I would love this Chuck guy to, yeah, because like we're at the point where we could probably need a little help with like some sort of tour management or something just to like get in the door to some of these places. That's a big problem too, and
Yeah, like
it's
a
not every place, I'm
publication.
not saying, but like some places like they don't want to hear from bands, they want to hear from a representative.
Yeah.
But it's also like I'm a DIY punk, like Nick and I, that's all we know. We don't know how to like that, and also we kind of want our hands on, like we want to pick our shows, like we want to pick and choose our shows. I know, and so it's a catch-22, but
So you do or don't know Chuck Wren?
I don't know Chuck.
I
I
don't
would
You
love
know
to know
from,
Chuck.
from Jump
Oh.
Up? He runs Jump Up Records out of Chicago.
Oh, no.
No,
I have
Chuck.
Jump Up Records comp in my car.
Chuck,
Oh, wow.
Chuck,
Always.
let's talk. Chuck.
Yeah.
Charles.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. If you ever need any connections, Mikey and I have a shitload of connections.
Well, just Mike,
Oh, well,
Mohawk
yeah.
Mike was just up in Chicago for a festival, wasn't he? Because I remember he was hanging with Chuck.
They did that Midwest Ska Fest
That was
Yeah,
it.
a
that's
couple
what it
weeks
was.
ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was it.
Chuck's ran
Yeah.
Jump Up Records since '93.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'll talk to Chuck. Like,
Oh
we need
yeah.
to-
I'll,
we need
I'll,
to-
I'll get you. Chuck.
Don't you guys worry about that. Ben will talk to him.
Chuck, I'm going to
He's-
warn you
he's
right
gonna hear
now.
from
Check
Benny.
your email tomorrow or tonight at 2 a.m. because you'll get 10 of my spam.
Chuck's amazing. He's a great guy. He's been doing everything for the scene since
Oh,
Yeah.
longer than me.
Yeah.
So
He's even got a DJ. DJs a show on
Yeah.
on radio on Wednesday afternoons, Wednesday evenings.
Oh, nice.
That's
Yeah.
and he
awesome.
does DJing at all the shows and stuff like that, and he puts his own stuff together. I've been to Chicago and gone to his shows stuff too. So yeah.
Yeah, well, we've been lucky. We have the Jesses of Philly that get us shows, or Chris here
Mm.
in Michigan, Chris Van Ash, who does a really good job.
Oh, right.
Christian down in Toledo, because like we cut our teeth in Toledo and Ipsy when we started, so like we have a good scene there. We have a great scene in Detroit, obviously, and now that like we've picked up with say Ferris and Mustard Plug and soon to be Less Than Jake at Wake and Bake, and another one next month that we still can't say.
Is Toledo that far from you guys?
It's like 20 minutes from me. It's like 30 to an hour from most of them. So anything
It's
that's an hour away is
Not
close.
bad. Yeah,
It's not
yeah,
bad,
for
no.
real.
No.
I was gonna ask
lived
Nick
in
about.
Toledo. Go on.
Go ahead, bro.
No, I was gonna say I lived in Toledo until like 2 years ago. So
Okay. I was going to ask you about the writing process. You write the
okay,
lyrics and the
yeah,
music, right?
yes, yes.
Tell me about the writing process because that's fascinating to me because I can't do it.
No, no, no. Okay, I mean, I'm not gonna read it, but I've got this extensive like. You can't see my phone screen. It doesn't matter. I just hold it up to my webcam. No, I have like extensive like notes of like lyric ideas that I write. Some of them are very old. Some of them are brand new. But I will. Uh, oh man, I wrote. Never mind. I was listening to. I was listening
the
to
next single right there.
Grills by Nelly. And the line, "You see my grandmama hate it, but my little mama love it." I'm like, I want to use that. I'm gonna put that in a song. So I have that in mind. It's like the last thing I wrote down.
Hell
I'm like, so I'm gonna somehow smash Grills into a song. But so I have like these extensive like lyric notebooks and notes. I write down every little thing I think of. So
Do
I've
you
got
write
just
lyrics
like
first and then put music behind it?
no. A lot of so if you have to Ben's chagrin, I will have all these demos with just no. I'm like, yeah, I've got like a concept, or I've got this thing, like I've got the first verse written, but I don't have a chorus yet. So I sit there and I like will play them here, and like I said, UCI guitars and microphones and piano, and so depending on how much time I have, because I have a full-time ass job, kids,
Right. Right.
so how much time I actually get to do this now. But yeah, so no, I will write the music comes first, and then I'll start whistling a melody, and then I'll trying to start figuring out how to get lyrics into that melody, and then I will smash that melody to pieces because the lyrics I do have don't fit it. And again, that drives Ben crazy because I'll have a lyric and then it'll break out into something completely different because the lyrics didn't fit it. And it'll try to go back in. It drove Roger crazy too. I think that was one of his like. He's like, but no, you had such a good cadence. I'm like, but the lyrics don't fit it. And he's like, well, change the lyrics. I go, no. No, I said what I want to say. But yeah,
you
so
name
no,
the songs too, right?
I do, yeah.
But
Yeah,
even
we talked a lot
even
about-
though the song title sometimes doesn't even match what the song's
You know,
about.
I will argue that they do. Because
See?
no, I actually again I can't show you my phone, but I have a whole nother list of song titles.
Okay.
And so sometimes they don't match. Sometimes they're kind of entirely just non sequiturs.
Like American
lot of-
Farts.
Yeah, well, American Farts makes sense. If you ever, there's a band called, that whole song is about listening to a song with someone you like in a car. And that the song that we reference in the chorus is called American Hearts. It's by a band called Piebald. And one of the big hook in that song is, "Hey, you're part of it." And so I'm a 12-year-old at heart, so American Farts was funny to me because it rhymes with American Hearts. And I think that one might have hurt us like streaming numbers wise, because I don't think they were really keen on putting American Farts into an algorithm.
Everybody poops. Everybody
But it's
farts,
also
man.
like it's also short, and it's like it's a kind of a weirder song. But we thought that was like, everyone was like, "Oh, this song rocks if it was like a minute longer." And I'm like, I can make it a minute longer, but like we don't have time in the studio to do that. But yeah. So I have this list of titles. I will tell a story. So originally there were two songs on Band from the Bathtub that late in the recording process, I realized the lyrics fit the other song better. So it was "She Only Dates Astronauts," parentheses, "So what on earth is she doing with me?" And then "It's not about the horniness, it's about the loneliness." And the lyric themes fit the other title better. So to this day, no one in the band can get them right anymore because I switched them kind of at the last minute because they related to the lyrics a little better. So yeah, so I mean, I could sit and go through them and say, oh, this is how it relates to the lyrics, or how I was feeling at the time, or like this is why it relates. But sometimes I'd say most of the time there's a reason for them. Sometimes they are kind of non sequitur-ish. Or if you go through our like demo list, a lot of them are either a quote from the show I had on in the background while I wrote that riff, or the name of like we have a song called like E flat minor no 5, which is just the name of the first chord. I'm like, okay, yeah, cool. This uses a really weird, like inverted E minor chord. Like, that's what this one's called. So, and it'll take us forever to get used to the new titles because everyone just gets used to the old like placeholder titles. But there's probably not a song I couldn't justify why that has that title.
So I did write one song on this album called Goodyear. I'm going to take props on it. Goodyear started out as Nick sent the song. It was just instrumental and it had Goodyear. That's literally what it said at the top. I was like, I'm going to write a song just based on this idea of a Goodyear.
Because there was a tire commercial on in the background while you were writing the riff.
Yeah, 100%. It's a Goodyear tires or on sale or something. And Nick's like, oh, that's good. But no, honestly, like it just came to me, and it was one of those things where we all have done that, where we were, or I would say, honestly, honest humans or real humans realized that they were probably an asshole for a couple of years because either they were in pain or maybe they just didn't care about life at the time or whatever. And then when they come out of it, like, you know, that's when like people become people, like in my opinion, like that's when real life starts, is when you kind of fall and then you got to figure it out. And this idea, and I love the lyric of, it's been a pretty good year. It's not been a good year. It's been a pretty good year. Yeah, this idea that like, there's still like, even when you're having the best time of your life, there's still some shit that's involved. And I remember when we were talking about the album, my band is like, wow, what a good time to put out Goodyear when our literal United States is having the shittiest year ever. And I was like, you know what, we can have hope, right? We'll give the people hope that maybe like, and it was a thought, like, man, that sucks.
It was written during Obama.
Yeah, it was a good year then.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's okay. Yeah, it's been a shitty year, but there's some good stuff that's happened this year. I mean, in my personal life, you know, and so yeah, it's been a pretty good year.
It's been a pretty good year.
Yeah, no, it's a great song. Oh, I played it on the show before. It's a great song.
It's about keeping your head up.
It's the real
good year.
So yeah, I was proud of that. And every once in a while, I will help Nick, like, and I think it's more like he just wants somebody there to be like a board to bounce words off of. So there has been times Nick and I have sat down with acoustic and came up with some things, but for the most part, I can't touch his lyrical genius. And something about Nick is he doesn't make you have to really like think about it, because that's the other thing too. Some lyricists are really good, but they lose half their audience, if you know what I'm talking about. Or it's very like, Nick is comical, but in a way that doesn't come across like it's campy. It's genuine, like this idea that we're literally complaining about being in our late 30s, early 40s, and taking ibuprofen and our knees going out on us and stuff like that. Like, how the hell? No other band is going to get away with that. Like Nick is somehow getting away with it. And in fact, we just got a message today from Australia. This gentleman, this 41-year-old, was like, I felt your songs, and I've never had an experience where like literally I was crying from joy, but also from like, because like we have the Shoe Police song, and so I've had dads, I think like 3 or 4 now, who have said like they've cried in their house listening to it because of how like they had a memory of their like raising their kids, and now their kids are gone. And so like I'm like, Nick, whatever the hell you're doing it right, buddy. So just keep doing what you're doing.
Definitely.
How long have you guys been friends?
20 probably about 20 years.
So since 2000, come on.
No, probably about 2000. We've known each other since like 2002.
Yeah, 2002, I would say.
Okay.
We've
been probably friends since 6 or 7.
He was in like a hardcore local band, and I was in a horror punk band, and we would play shows together. And so like we've known each other for a very, very, very long time. But what I found is, and I tell this to Nick all the time, sorry, Nick, to bring this up, but Nick is older than me. So I have an older brother, Chris, who's closer to Nick, but Nick's still older. And anyways, both of these people in my life have introduced me to the reason I'm doing what I'm doing today. Like my older brother, Chris, was very eclectic about his music. So as much as he gave me these amazing albums that introduced me to punk and everything, he would give me like the weirdest ass shit that had nothing to do with anything. And then, so like when I met Nick, Nick would like be like, okay, Benny, you like this band. Now we got to go back to Op Ivy. Like, I got to start you to understand. And one thing about Nick, lyrically, or vocally, I should say, the transition from Art Theft or band to Art Theft to exhibition was the same, to Disco Lunch, or the 5 EP that we released with like Unrealized Gains and all that. Nick has helped me be a more well-rounded singer, specifically a singer that can not only, sing in the pop punk range, but also like I'm doing hardcore stuff, which I never thought I could do. Nick wrote a rap song, and I've never understood rap. Like date night. If you would have heard the first couple of times I tried to sing it with Nick, he was like, "Oh God, we're gonna have some time here." Like, Benny, get back your Death Row album, start over again. Let's try this again. But honestly, it's like now it's like I'm Nick. Give me an idea. I'm going to do it. I'm going to make it work. And that is something that I am very good at, is like, if you give me enough time, and once it's memorized, it's down. Like I can come in and out of it like it's no big deal. But it's like, yeah, Nick wrote this new, like, very metal song, and I want to learn how to do the gruff, like, whoa, 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 whoa. But I've never done it. I don't know. I got to learn how do you like make your lips and all that. But like, that I'm very impressed with, even vocally. Another thing too is I became sober about 4 years ago because I was going through a really bad time, and ever since then too, like, I've really put like this is happening. People like it. Like, I think they deserve the best that I can give them. That sometimes is my own demise, because I think I do too much for everybody, including myself. But yeah, this band is incredible. Like, thank you so much for even thinking about talking to us about this kind of stuff, because like, we're very proud of this.
I can tell. I can tell by listening to the music.
Mm-hmm. Now you guys have a lot of different designs. I've seen a severed pig head with the police hat and a disco ball in his mouth instead of an apple.
Tell us about the cover of Disco Lunch, dude.
Oh, okay. So, Disco Lunch came from like a misheard lyric.
Exactly.
Well, so in the TANGC, which is the decapitated pig with a cop hat on, one of the lines is frame some teenagers before my discount lunch. It's kind of about a day in the life of a piece of shit cop. And Roger stops the recording when Ben was in the booth, and he goes, "Is that lyric Disco Lunch?" And we're like, and I pop my head and I go, "What?" So in the other room while Benny was recording vocals, we started just like riffing on how funny that would be and like what artwork could be. And we're like, yeah, dude, that's it. We've been like trying to figure this out. It's kind of down to the wire. We're like, no, this is fucking sick. This is funny. So the artwork is done by Maggie Binkowski. We actually hung out with her Thursday. She was at our show Thursday, and we were like, you need to get like a website so we can point people to it, because we keep shouting you out on podcasts, and I don't think you have any like online like presence, but she's so good. And she took this idea and just like ran with it. We kind of described what we had come up with. We're like almost like this like Where's Waldo-esque, with like everything is all these like little things are references to things in the album. We had like every track on the album had like a visual like representation that she actually threw in there. And we were like, oh, we could like throw like as like a credit, we could like throw people we know in there. So there's people we know, like cartoons are people we know in this thing. So the artwork, came out really good. And Maggie was also just like, well, what do you want for the inside of the CDs? We're like, I don't know, same stuff as the LP. Like, what are you talking about? And she's like, no, it's got to be different. I'll do different stuff. So she spearheaded a whole just absolute package. And she was like, nope, I've got the insert. Like, we were just like, oh, okay, cool. Like, she was just so excited about it. And she took it exactly how we wanted. She understood the assignment. And we are like so pumped on it now. So
I guess we never really thought about like how much art goes into like records and like CDs, and like you want them a little bit different. And she was just incredible about like, I'd be like, I'm so sorry, but like the label wants it this way. And she'd be like, no problem. I'll get it to you tomorrow. I'm like, okay, sure. Or like, like easy. She made the inserts look like menus. Like, she's just brilliant with what she did.
Oh, you're
And,
kidding, really?
yeah, the inserts of the records are like their menus, like the little like yellow menu
For your disco lunch.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
And what was
Yeah.
really cool, which we didn't think about, is like people are really into it. Like they're dressing up in disco clothes to our shows. There's disco balls all over
Oh,
the
get
place.
out.
We're coming across disco balls everywhere we go, and we're taking pictures and sending it to each other. Like it's all disco now. And I think the world is in such a like a somber place right now. They're so like, yeah, it's sick, dude. That's a poster.
Oh, that's sick.
Oh, that is.
Yeah. So
And
yeah,
then on
this
the-
is like the cover art, like blown out to a.
So on the
Oh.
posters that we made, we put us in. So like on the outside is us. It's like little representations of us, but we didn't want it on the record. That was something special that people could get. But yeah, so like what disco is doing, I think people are they really want to have fun. They want to be able to forget about all this garbage that's going on right now. So I think disco is such a fun, like you can dress up and you can be a part of it. And like our shows are so interactive to begin with. So like I'm loving it. Nick got a cowboy hat put on him last night for no reason whatsoever. It was sick. Like we're like our fans are
Urban Cowboy.
They're bringing stuff and like, and I know you know this, Daryl and Mikey, like the flag. So like we're having Michigan Ska. They're bringing the flag everywhere, and like they're draping around me like a cape, and just like we're having a blast. We really are. So it's like a theme too. It's not just the album. It's like almost like this idea that like people can just let loose.
Mm.
I think we made the joke that everyone's leaning into disco, but no one has brought us lunch.
Nick did this because he
So
wanted
it's
lunch.
Everyone's zeroing in on the wrong thing.
You guys have a Tink Fest coming up.
Right? What's that? Sorry.
Tink Fest coming up. This is not Croydon.
Oh yeah.
Do you guys
is
have
that how it's pronounced?
You guys,
is it Croydon?
That's the first time I've heard it pronounced that way, but it's an acronym.
Croydon.
Yeah. I get the acronym.
No, but what do you say?
It's
when
the
you
city.
said when you said when you said Tink, we were like, "What are we missing? Something? Is there another festival?" Because it's always Croydon. Like people are just
Croydon. Okay.
You know what I mean?
I was gonna say you may be pronouncing it correct. I'm worried that I'm pronouncing it wrong. Okay.
No,
I've never been there, but we're excited.
But you guys are playing with a lot of great. Like you guys are going to be playing with Bim Scala Ben.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Are they playing Sunday?
And we got.
I don't think Bim Scala Ben was.
Oh, you're gonna be playing a festival with them, but probably not.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yep. And Jokers are on that too. Yeah, Jokers made it from our label too.
Who's on our day? Voodoo Glow Skulls Against All Authority. I know I'm excited about Title Fight. They're like from Pennsylvania. They're like friends with my brother.
I think Stop the Presses. Stop the Presses are on
Stop the Presses. Droogs Don't Run.
They're right across the bridge.
Yeah. No, but so all the bands, like the whole festival is awesome. But I've been trying to I've been following it since it started, and I've been like, oh, God, we got to get there, but it's far away from us, so it's like we couldn't just go. And we could if we, but families, kind of take precedence over traveling to Scotch shows.
Yeah,
it's like the Joel Tacey, the Michigan Ska, is like, just come and bring your guitars and just play out in a backyard somewhere. And we're like, see that we feel weird about that. Like we weren't invited. Like, yeah, I understand. Like we would still be loved and still be great, but it's like, we also like people went to see these bands that were asked to play, right? They got the letter, like, hey, we want you, it's like one of those things where it's like, yeah, it's Supernova. It's the same way. Like we want to play Supernova, but we want to be asked to play. You know what I mean? We want to do it the right way. And nothing wrong with punk bands going and playing in backyards and stuff. I think it's awesome. I think it's a wonderful thing. And not to mention, I'm sure a lot of those bands got asked the next year. But it's just more or less like I at this point, like they have the bands for a reason that they pick. But yeah, so we're really excited about This Is Not Croydon. We're hoping maybe to do a couple fests this year, maybe depending on how, like the fest, like we talked about that, specifically now that we're going down and do Wake a Bake with Les and Jake and Jokers as well. So there's a lot of cool stuff. Like I said, there's a show in a month from now that I really wish I could say, but it has not been announced yet, with two incredible bands. and we're kind of waiting to see what, because that's the other thing too, right? You got to wait for the submissions and all this kind of stuff.
Right.
There's some local fest too, like there's Stoop Fest here in Michigan. We're hoping to pop on.
Yeah, we were on that one. That was a good one last year.
It's a lot of fun in Lansing. That's close to us, and like
Jer is doing that with, and then also like the Hotelier, the singer for the Hotelier is doing like an acoustic set.
in Gray
Kansas
Matter,
State
that's
last
another
year. Yeah, Gray
big
Matter's on
band
it. Yeah.
Michigan. That
What are some of the bands that you guys listen to? Some of the new bands that you guys listen to?
Oh,
new
man.
bands?
Or like, okay, what are you listening to? What do you got?
Okay, so
go on, Benny. I'll let you.
So Nick and I literally have been on this old 90s, early 2000s emo thing going on right now. Nick and I are big fans of like obviously Dashboard Confessional, but like The Promise Ring, and we get into like Texas Is the Reason and all this, like where it's like emo and hardcore, like it's a very they could get easily intertwined. And so like like I say, I'm going back. So these two gentlemen, Chris, my brother, and Nick, who you are seeing, have introduced me to the greatest bands. And Nick specifically has like, he's almost like perfected what I like. And he'll be like, okay, I know what. And then he'll try to trickle in his real hardcore that I can't get into. But like, because I really like None More Black, but it took me a while to get into Kid Dynamite because of that. Like, because that was a little too much at first. So he knows how to like trick me into like, Benny, you're gonna really like this. And I'm like, shit, this is really good, but you're gonna like this even more. I'm like, oh no, I'm already here. So like we were driving this, we drove a lot these last 4 days together in a car, and Nick was showing me a lot of amazing, like
I tricked you into liking Bishop.
You sure did. Bishop ruled, that song ruled. But no, so like I listen to and the new ska is just so good right now. Like there's a lot of good stuff.
The new Best of the Worst album fucking rips. It's insane.
That album that might be the closest to like what we're doing. Like, and they're doing it even harder because they're crushing it with that. I wish them a great like dude, your record rules. They wished us like it was like it's so neat. But yeah, like obviously the Kill Lincolns of the world, and there's the Doom Stompers that are doing the more traditional ska down there. They're killing it. I don't want to say all the bands because like I know I'm missing a ton of bands when I'm saying this, like my brain, because there's so much good ska. But I still when it comes to me, like I'm gonna still go back to like Destruction by Definition, and I'm still gonna go back to I was listening to Mad Caddies the other day, Duck and Cover. I think it was the one I was listening to the other day. Like, dude, that's so good. But like, yeah, that was like, and of course, like you got the Catch-22s and Streetlight Manifestos. We're not going to get into that whole argument, but like that's what I still go to this.
I'll get into it.
Okay, I know. We did.
Mad Caddies was not their original name, right?
No, what was the original name?
They were called the Ivy League.
Hell, right. That's a cool name too, though.
Yeah.
Well,
they're from here. They're from 2 hours away from us.
Solvang.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's that little Dutch town there in like Central California.
Yeah, I love that place. It's cool.
Yeah, we were talking like at the backstage or like under the stage, technically at one of the venues we were at, about how like none of us even like barely listen to like punk music anymore. Like there's a couple new punk bands that I really like. I'm trying to think of them right now off the top of my head. I know like Combat is one of them that I really was into. And I'm gonna fail because I don't listen to a lot of like the new punk stuff. I don't listen to a lot of the new ska stuff. I listen to records like when our friends put out like Best of the Worst. I listened to that and I was like, this fucking rocks. I was Spotify just introduced like this new like personal listening stats that I found yesterday, and I think so like Paul Simon and like Graceland are like the thing I've listened to most of the last week.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Adam I used to have that album,
dude. It's I said the dude borderline like committed treason to record it. It's insane,
right?
How fucking good that album is.
It is. It's a great album.
If you get a chance, turn it up. Like, because it feels like Paul Simon should be like easy listening. Crank it. Those drums fucking rule.
Yeah,
like it is so good.
Lady Smith, Black Mambazo.
Dude, yep.
That was
there was an embargo on like working with South African musicians. He was like, fuck,
and he did it.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was
What I
amazing.
got?
I saw him on Saturday Night Live too. He came on Saturday Night Live with a whole
yeah.
freaking band. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Yeah, Betty mentioned the Promise Ring. I got Adam and his package on here. It's kind of all over the place. A lot of K-pop because my kids are really into the K-pop Demon Hunter soundtrack. But I will tell you that is the kind of music I fucking love. Like I was talking to my like really like crust punk friend, and I was like, dude, I think my favorite band is like Churches. And he was like, are you fucking kidding me?
Really?
I'm like, no, dude, I don't listen to a lot of like punk rock music. Like I listen to a lot of like pop and a lot of I could probably sit and name ska bands all day. Don't get me wrong. I grew up listening to this, like, but I don't I do. Don't get me wrong. I guarantee you that I have was it? The Bronx, Heart Attack American Radio. So like I have Paint It Black up here. But then I also have Camp for Cutie, Sunny Day Real Estate, and like my like so it's just kind of all over the map. None of it is ever just like only one thing.
Then
It's
what?
like, yeah, dude.
What got you into doing? Okay, so why ska punk and not just punk?
Because Less Than Jake is one of my favorite bands.
Okay.
I was in, I think, middle school and late elementary school when the like 90s Sublime No Doubt ska boom happened.
Right.
And so you'll note those are formative years for a person's musical taste. So I have years ago, don't get me wrong, I've been married for 10 years, but I have broken up with girls who were like, oh, I hate ska. And I'm like,
Made the right choice.
I'm like, but you didn't 3 years ago. Like you just hate it now. Like, no, you suck. So no, me and my brother sings for a band called D Block, and they're like a pretty hype hardcore band right now. They're amazing. Listen to them, everyone. But he and I both just will go back and forth about like ska bands we like. Like the fact that Catch 22 put out a record with a fucking Singer for Hatebreed on it is insane to me. Like, and also that alone makes them better than Streetlight Manifesto. That said, I like Streetlight Manifesto. Please do never get me wrong. I love Streetlight Manifesto. I think Catch 22 is better. But yeah, so like it's kind of like everything. I really like almost everything that touches punk rock.
Well, and it's interesting too because like Nick and I come from like liking the older ska punk bands and those albums, and like so our horns are younger than us, so they're on the next level. So we'll bring up like when like the producer's like, hey, give us 3 albums that you want, like a sound like kind of situation for your albums, and Nick and I are like throwing like I said, Destruction by Definition. I'm always gonna throw that because like that album is a perfect 10 out of 10. It's Michigan. It's who we are. And Jay killed it. Like, I know he doesn't like, he's very humble about it, but like he killed that album. Like that album is just
the whole band. Is fucking rippers.
Yes. Yeah. Suicide Machines. But also like I'm saying, like Mad Caddies, like Big D and the Kids Table. I remember being young and hearing Checklist and being like, this is whatever this is, I want every part in it. And so, and then Real Big Fish, and like you get into the downs of there, and you get into like Real Big Fish and then Less Than Jake. Like my wife, when I was dating her, had 2 Less Than Jake, and we would listen to, she only had like 6 CDs, and we listened to them it was Atari So Long Astoria, which kills, like that album rips. And it was Less Than Jake, it was Anthem and Goodbye Blue and Gold. Am I saying that?
Goodbye Blue and White.
Blue and White, thank you. And so like I was telling Nick, like their cover of what was track 1 on that?
I think
I Love You. Yeah, like that ripped. And like so like when we were talking, Nick and I were first, like I was like, oh, Anthem, and he's like, no, dude, don't even get me started on this. But like it's funny because like we like different times, but like Nick and I can at least like relate on that. When we talk, they're like, yeah, like we understand it's like your guys is like go to, but like for us it's like they were later down, so like they're into like they're more into the new Bad Time stuff, and which we are too, right. But it's like that's not what got us into this, is not why. And the other thing too about why I think we ended up doing the ska punk realm, I think at first Nick and I were just testing the water with it, but I think as we have evolved into this band that we're doing, we realize how much fun ska actually is. Like not only to be a part of it, but to watch people interact with it. Like it is such like fans are just better. Our fans are just like incredible individuals that want to help the bands, they want to pursue it, and they really go into it. Like it's the whole ska scene is absolutely wonderful, and if even taking like our little like I feel like Nick and I are just visitors in this world at times, you know, and I realize that we're going to blink and then all of a sudden we're going to be that next generation where like we're going to be have people like we want to write an album just like Disco Lunch. Like, what?
Yes.
Don't do this.
Think it through.
Disco Supper, the next album, the Girl Lieutenants.
What about the Scholars and / Telegraph?
Oh my gosh! Oh. So Nick, I'll tell you your story
because Gangster Fun.
So yeah, so Nick,
or Parker
date night has that just you, just me. What was it, Nick?
Just me, just you. Yeah, just I stole that from Head First Feet First by Scholars Telegraph, whatever. And every time we played it, because it was pre-Art Theft, like we had started playing that live before like Art Theft and the concept of just everything here is stolen was introduced. I felt the need to like call it out live because I'm like, someone in Detroit's gonna kick my ass because they think we stole this. And I'm like, I did, but it's very self-aware. We know we stole it. But that song, like I was on like the Misfits of Ska comp and I fucking love that song. So I was just like, that was always in my, and I wrote this whatever the chord progression was, and I was just like, oh my god, that sounds just like that. So I was just like, oh, that works. I could change that into a song about being an adult and trying to seduce your wife and failing. And so the first time, I say one of the first times we played it, it wasn't not my first. We're playing with Lady Hatchet and I think the Jay Navarro and the Traders, but the guy who plays trombone in Jay Navarro and the Traders was also in Telegraph. And I called it out. I said, yeah, this one goes out to everyone who like is a old head Detroit ska fan. And he comes to talk to me backstage. He goes, dude, that Telegraph part was cool. I go, yeah, I love that band. He goes, I was in that band. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, cause I never, like, they came around when I wasn't old enough to like go to Detroit to shows. Cause I lived 45 minutes to an hour away. So it was like, dude, that was kind of like not something I could just go down the road to experience. I would have to make like a whole weekend out of it. Not really. But as a 16-year-old kid, I probably wouldn't have been allowed because I
wasn't Eric Abbey in one of those bands too back then?
Yeah, well, he was in Super Dot. His brother Super specifically.
That's right.
But he filled in when Super Dot needed him, and then and that's another thing too that Nick and I got like thrown into was these forefathers of the ska punk in our Detroit scene, and like now we're allowed to, and they never not allowed us, but we feel like we're comfortable with them, which is kind of weird too. And like, you know, I remember asking Jay, like, hey, can I come up and sing a song with you? And it was just the weirdest but funniest thing because like Eric knew that I was just very uncomfortable about it. And he was like, I'll see what I can do. But like Jay's really weird about the mic sometimes. And like it's funny now that knowing that they were just giving me shit just because I was new to the scene. And I didn't know what I was doing. And then like, yeah, so like they obviously they were on our Cannibal song, you know, they guest spotted on that. So like it's been so incredible. Nick and I have been in a studio now with Jay and Eric. We've been in a studio now with Roger. It's and like Detroit has so much history when it comes to that, and they're so proud of it. And I think that was kind of a scare for Nick and I at first, was like, I hope we don't come in here and like make a mockery out of what I have accomplished and established. And I think we've done good to like keep it true and keep it what it is.
Agreed.
Yeah, you have a lot of guys from other bands in Michigan that are other bands, like the what is it? John and Kachowski.
Killer Diller. Is it Killer Diller you're talking about?
Killer Diller, the Detroit Rhythm Crew, and all those guys play, you know, in a lot of the different bands.
Yeah.
Which is pretty awesome, and which is cool. Just like what's his name?
That's Scott though, dude.
Derek, the the drummer from the Suicide Machines went to what's the name of the band?
Alkaline.
Trio.
Alkaline Trio. Yeah.
Yeah, he's one of the best drummers that's ever existed.
Yeah.
I was watching the DVD, like that Show Must Go Off of Alkaline Trio, and just watching the drummer, and he's playing with one hand, like stuff I can't even conceptualize with. I'm like, fuck this guy. He's too good.
Yeah.
God damn it. But like it's wild, yeah. But like no, and then after like shortly after watching that, I was like, oh, that's the drummer for the Suicide Machines. That's why he's so good, because he was fucking ripping the Suicide Machines when he was 16, 17. And like, yeah, he just stayed good. Like, cool. I'm so jealous. But
yeah, I hung out with those guys when they were here recording Destruction by Definition.
Oh fuck
at AMM Studios.
Yeah.
So I got to hang out with them in the studio, and then I actually booked them the first time they played here in LA. They played with Meal Ticket, the Hippos.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Meal Ticket, the
Of
Hippos.
course,
Fucking
Daryl.
love the
Less
Hippos.
Than Jake, and somebody else.
Jesus Christ, that's a bill.
I do say,
Right?
you
Yeah,
can
that was
stop
96
there.
or 97. What
Fucking like that's a whole other thing too, that like so like the Hippos, Goldfinger, all of those dudes became like Grammy winning fucking record producers. Like the fact that the singer for the Hippos produces like Carly Rae Jepsen records is insane to me. Like I remember when the band
And
Armor for Sleep, this
Adele,
like ska
Vampire
core.
Weekend.
Yeah. Like I pulled a random person out of my butt. He may not have produced a Carly Rae Jepsen record, but I remember when Armor for Sleep, that like skacore, or not skacore, like post-hardcore band, caught shit for like, dude, you went to the fucking ska guy to produce your record, and now he's just like a fucking Grammy winner, like, or Grammy nominated. Like John Feldman just got nominated for a Grammy. Like all these old ska guys are just like responsible for so much pop music. And it's insane to me, like that these bands I used to like are like,
Well, yeah, I mean, it's kind of the way it works.
yeah.
You know, when I was in high school, I was listening to Oingo Boingo, and now look at Elfman. You know, I was listening to Devo. Look at Mark Mothersbaugh now.
Yeah.
Right. You know, so it's just I guess it's the progression.
Yeah.
Nick,
No, it's
Nick,
well, so it's go on, man.
you're talking about yourself now. Just 20 years from now, Nick, it's going to be you.
Yeah,
Exactly.
film
I told-
scoring.
I told
projecting.
Roger. I told Roger when we get the Grammy, you're gonna have to get it and then say like that was called Disco Lunch, because he told us to not call it Disco Lunch. He's like, please do not
Yeah.
call this thing that I worked hard on with you guys Disco Lunch.
Yeah.
But
Well,
but
that's-
now
yeah,
he
that's
thinks
another
that I
thing.
get it. I get it.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's like it's much more than normal punk music. There's like things to orchestrate. There's things to think about. Like you listen to like Danny Elfman, like he wrote the fucking Simpsons theme. Like that's insane. Like
Right.
that this, but like Oingo Boingo was always weird. Ska music has always been kind of weird and leans into that like almost more dramatic. You don't write horn parts in a punk band. You don't write.
Right. Well, he had so many influences. Scott was just one of his many influences.
100%. Yeah.
And same with Mother's Boss. You know, it's
Yeah.
just so they're gonna take this musical genius. Yeah, it's gonna be Nick in 20 years, bro. Watch.
He's gonna be like, Benny, you could come to the studio and like
Yeah.
you used to
Just bring me a
sing
coffee
for my
first.
band. Yeah, all right. I'll be his intern. Like he'll be like, oh, that's my turn.
Yeah, right.
Can you,
Yeah,
Benny, can you go in there and
right.
move that mic just enough, please? Yes,
Thanks.
sir. Please and thank you.
But yeah, no, this music kind of lends itself to leaning into that stuff. So it makes sense because you have to think about so much more than just, oh yeah, this is like a crusty guitar part. Like
Yeah.
you have to think about how the horns are harmonized. You have to think about all of this stuff, and it's like it's a much more complicated music than people think. Like,
Do you think
we've
that's
got-
part of what makes it so appealing?
Yeah, I do.
And maybe part of why the community is the way it is.
Yeah, no,
Is
that makes sense a lot.
because-
Yeah.
Okay.
I will
And
tell
think-
you that we would not be half as fun and cool as we were if we didn't have our horn section.
Oh, 100%.
Like every once in a while, like they'll be like, "Hey, we're gonna have a separate practice where we like really run down what we're doing," and we'll be like, "Okay, we're just
Hell
gonna be
yeah.
a punk band tonight," and it just
Yeah.
like
it's not.
only like it's like 2/3 the way of a full band. We're like, man, we're really missing something. Like the
Yeah.
horns make it so much more exciting. It's so much more energy on stage.
I just saw a local punk band on ska punk band on Friday.
okay.
No Villains Left, and they've got a trombone and a trumpet. And let me tell you, it's exactly what you're saying. It is way more fun having just even two horns,
Yeah, even
onto the punk band, and it brings so much more.
Yep.
I don't know. It's so filling and so much more energy.
Yes.
I think.
Yeah, the energy is insane with just that many people on stage. It's like it just radiates.
Well, and I think too for the specifically the horn players, they don't have a lot of opportunities outside of a ska band. You know what I mean? To really like, specifically if they're into punk rock, they don't really have a lot of opportunities to do things. So I think for them, it's like, dude, we're gonna rip this up because this is something we've wanted to do since we were in high school. Like they learned how to play their instrument, and they literally have been tinkering in their house, waiting for somebody to ask them to play. And a lot of them like are very like introverted, but you get them on stage, and it's like they're these whole
maniacs.
They're crazy. We can't. Nick and I can't even hold par with them anymore. But no, it's like you're absolutely right. Like we even like our horns now are starting to get asked to play with other bands to like do a song or two, and like even those songs we have our label mates Middle Out. They have this really great song called Ballerina. It's their Ballerinas. It's their biggest song, and they have allowed us to come up and not only me sing, but also our horns to play. And their song sounds so much more full. And they even said it like, we wish we would have recorded this now, thinking about it with horns. And it's like it is such. And like I said, I think this is idea. Like we've been this way too. Like if you got a horn, you want to come up and play a song with us, do it. Like this idea that like they could be a part of it. Like you're part of it. Like it's literally their song. But like, yeah. And in fact, our trumpet player, her dad plays trumpet, and he was like, can I like come to practice and just like, I won't put a mic, but like, can I just play with you guys? And he does. He plays with his daughter and is like the coolest
Just to play.
Just to come and play.
Yeah, he just hangs out. Yeah.
And I hear him, and
That's cool.
He's a professional hornist or trumpeter, so like he's doing scales, but he's not comfortable enough to like. I don't want to step on their toes, you know what I mean? I don't want to like go to time. Nick and I are like, no, come on. Like when Emily's doing a solo, you should come up and do a solo behind her, harmonize off her. It would be sick, like a father.
Oh man,
like yeah, absolutely. Like, and that's the thing too. This is the first time like Nick and I's local community actually kind of cares about us too. Like, because they're very big in the country and they don't care about what we're doing. They don't understand it. And like, I'm starting to finally, for the first time, get people like, oh, like you're actually like doing music. Like, it's not like you're playing a show in Toledo. Like you're selling albums in places and people are, I'm like, yeah, like I've been trying to tell you that this is happening. Like this has been going on.
And see, that's so weird to me because the Michigan ska scene seems huge. And so supportive. I mean, they got the biggest flag at Supernova, for Pete's sake. You know, they've been doing it for the longest time, it seems like. So it's just like, and you talk about, Suicide Machines and all these, bands that are out of Detroit and out of your local area. That's one of the questions that they usually ask on the show is, what's the ska scene like in your area? We don't have to ask. You've already told us.
Insane, yeah.
So to hear that, oh yeah, like the genre of choice in your area is country, and yet how big to me the Michigan ska scene seems is amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, we're both from pretty small towns. It's
infecting the world. Yeah, our small towns don't understand. So like you'll have like in each of these high schools, the local high schools, there's one or two that are like, I had no idea you guys were playing here. Like this is incredible. But like the actual like town itself is like, I don't know what you're doing. I like Vince Gill. You know what I mean?
Right.
Vince Gill.
We live in the red areas.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Red areas of the voting map.
Now,
Trying to change that.
Let me get a question here. What challenges has your band faced during your time as a band? Besides losing band members, what other?
I was gonna say, yeah, that was. I know I mentioned that earlier. That hasn't been nearly as a challenge. I genuinely, these are some of my best friends. Like everyone's like, do you ever hang out with anyone outside of music? I'm like, well, I don't have time to, but no, because these are who I would hang out with if we didn't play music, 'cause I
Right.
love these dudes. That's so like everyone gets along really well. Challenges,
Scheduling stuff can be a challenge.
Yeah,
Just because there's
yes,
7 of
yes.
us, it has nothing to do with 1 or 2 members are particularly picky. It's more or less like this idea that like, okay, show gets offered, I send it out, and then it's like that 24 hours is like hit or miss of what you're gonna, and then you got to remind them. And it's not that they don't want to or they can't, but it's also like now we're having the problem of, because we have such crazy lives and because we have the kids and stuff, we have to
Yeah.
pick and choose now what we play, which is Nick
Yeah.
and I have never had this problem before of like,
saying no is
That's a
harder
great
than-
problem to have, though.
It's
It
yeah,
is.
it's not a bad
It
problem,
is.
but yeah.
but when you're starting to play with like, like Mustard Plug and 5 Iron Frenzy and stuff, and they have these clauses where you can't play shows in that area for 30 days and
Mhm.
or 30 days before and after. So Nick and I are like, oh shit,
Thank
we
God.
can't play in our Detroit. And now we are, but like for a while it was like, but what if the homies want to show? Like we can't do that. Like, and that's weird. Like it seems weird, but I get it from a business standpoint.
Yeah.
But like, and also like not like keeping yourself not saturated basically. But like, it's this idea that like, we're learning this. Nobody teaches you, like you don't get a one-on-one course like, okay, now that you're in a label, this is how you act, this is certain things that you just need to understand. And then like this, like playing with Mustard Plug and then being like, okay, now just so you know, there's this 30-day thing before and after, and we're kind of getting used to it. So like for now, because we have to be so picky, we have to keep like the festivals open because we don't know until they announce, right? So like we're not at that stage where they're like, yeah, you're in, don't worry about it, you might as well take that day off. We're like, shit, are we gonna get Friday, are we gonna get Saturday, do we got to drive there, do we got to fly there? So that, honestly, that's the only tricky part now. I think it's one of those things where the members that needed to be in the band stayed in the band, and the members that, had other things, life happens. Like that's just the reality, right? And I don't necessarily know if they were completely happy with everything that was going on in the band either. So I think the band members we have now are happy, and for some reason we're all kind of on the same page about like, let's kind of let the band take it where it takes. Like, and we'll deal with those problems down the line. We're not worrying about a tour down the line if it doesn't happen. But this, then when it actually gets presented to us, then it's like, oh shit, now we got to figure this out.
Yeah.
But other than that, like we're all lucky enough to have families that like allow us to do this. And I don't mean like allow, like they're supportive of it.
Mhm.
And, yeah, our wives, I'm going to give a shout out to all 3 of our wives and all of our kids in here, because like, I'm sure it's sad sometimes we're gone, and we're not even gone that much. Like we're lucky enough to get away with these like 2-day tours or 3 to 4 day weekends.
Yeah.
But like Nick and I aren't on the road for a month and a half yet. Maybe that day comes and that'll be weird.
Yeah.
But like, that's the big thing, is scheduling.
I don't
you
think I've
gotta
ever
say-
heard of the 30-day thing. I've heard like here in Southern California, we have 30 miles, but it could
Yeah.
be within a day.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't really hit that too often, but there are a lot of times with like, I see some like bigger bands, like say like Mustard Plug, say Ferris, like as they're coming through, they want to make sure that you don't have a show that'll take from the audience.
Because
It makes
a
sense,
big
but
part
it's
of the
also
draw.
like, what are they gonna arrest me if we like jump on a show in a couple cities over or whatever? But like, yeah, that's a thing.
So the
it's-
30-day thing is within that same city.
Yes.
In the area, basically.
Yeah.
The problem with Detroit, and I'm sure it's with a lot of bigger cities, right? There's little towns surrounding that area.
Yeah, the Detroit
So-
area is huge and like 40 cities.
So if we're like an hour away, they're not gonna shake a stick at it. But if we're playing a show within half an hour of it, I'm guaranteeing, because it has happened. I'm not gonna say what happened, but we have gotten slapped on the wrist for a possible situation. It didn't happen, and honestly, I'm very happy with how they treated me during it, because they were basically like, dude, this is a learning experience. We had to learn this. we got in trouble too, which is kind of what you have to do, but realize like you could cause that band to never want to play with you again. Because if you're not playing by the rules, like we're allowing you to play with us.
Right.
Take it for what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a 30-day. And the 30 day, you're saying from 30 days from that. So 15 days before, 15 days after. Is that what you were saying, Daryl? It was what you've heard.
No, I know. No, I've never heard that you can't play within 30 days of playing with some of these bands
in the area.
It's in the area.
Yeah, I guess I should have.
Ours, yeah, because ours is within 30 miles.
Yeah, there's a
play.
distance.
Because ours, like Ventura, you can play like Ventura or Long Beach because that's more than 30 miles, but you can't do like Ventura and LA because that's like 25 miles, 20 miles.
Okay.
So it's just different for us, but I've never heard of bands say you can't play any show 30 days before.
No, it wasn't. It was the area.
Or
it was
30
the
days after. Okay.
That's the area. I guess I should have clarified that.
Okay.
Like if they have a show in Detroit, the problem is us Midwesterners, cities are so close.
Yeah. Yeah. Everything's spread apart here. So
yeah, you guys have the
yeah,
you gotta drive 6 hours in the desert to get to the next town. You know,
yeah, it's ridiculous. And Mikey too. Mikey's got that problem. I mean, he's on the North Shore all the way up there.
Well, yeah, because there's no venues here on North Shore. Well, there's one new one and I'm gonna try to get No Villains Left to gig there. But yeah, everything's in town, but that's only 45 minutes away. So we're still talking, you guys talked about doing gigs an hour away is not a big deal. An hour away is not that big of a deal. But the towns here are pretty close together too. It's all one city. Honolulu is all one city, one county as well.
Yeah.
But we have little towns here and there, like I'm in Haleiwa, Waialua's next door. Hau'ula's up the street. Laie's even past that. So but they're all super really close. So it's kind of like you were saying. I think in Detroit, the surrounding area, there's a whole bunch of little cities around there. So
because you got like Grand Rapids, you got like Ann Arbor, Ypsilanti.
Yeah, you're talking. It'd be kind of like having Detroit as an island with everything around. So So it's like I said. I think it took me it took me a little longer on Friday because I had to deal with Palhana traffic. So maybe about an hour and 15 minutes, I think, to get into town on Friday to go see No Villains Left. But it was worth it.
Yeah, honestly, hour nowadays, like Nick and I have drove so much, like an hour is no big deal. But like, when you're driving 2.5 hours to a place that you get, it comes to the conclusion when we get done playing because we put it all in. So like, it's a workout for us. So like coming home, it's like you get done with the show and go, shit, there's another.
Now I got to drive 2 hours to go home, right? I know, Mohawk Mike goes to shows. He's driving 5-6 hours sometimes.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's because he lives in the sticks, man. Oneonta, Alabama?
He's in Alabama. He's working in Iowa right now, and he's hating it because it's cold.
He's the one that is really big into Punk Rock Saves Lives, right?
Pretty much, yeah. Okay. I have him on the show. He comes on my show every week. And he does international pick.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You'll see him online. He is a multicolored mohawk and stuff like that. Yes. Different colors every week, I guess.
That's really cool. Yeah.
But yeah, he's a cool dude. Yeah.
Maybe not every week.
Whenever he gets to it. I know it's getting late for you guys, so we could wrap it up a little. Couple more questions. What does the future hold for the Boy Detective? We know you just had some material coming out, but we know there are some ska festivals like the Croydon or whatever you say it fest coming up. What else you guys got coming up that you can actually speak of?
So
that's tough. I don't know exactly what I do know. We have several things that are going to be pretty big in the works. I don't know if we're allowed to like announce them. I do know that we are. I do know that Supernova is a distinct possibility. I do know we're in talks for that. I do know that we are theorizing or planning our next album. There's the potential that might happen within a year. There's some things going on behind the scenes that we're trying to figure out if that's something we're going to do, if that's something we can do. But yeah, we're trying to try to do a little bit more bigger festivals farther away, but that's obviously within reason because one of my challenges is the work-life balance thing to try to make sure that I'm not away from my kids and wife and everything for too long. Mm-hmm. So I don't know what we have confirmed. I could probably look, but but I don't think there's
There's
anything
the
like
Pioneer Ska
confirmed,
Fest is coming up too.
announced. What is
They're
that one?
gonna be announcing the Pioneer Ska Fest for I think April next year. It's
Okay,
in Buffalo, New York.
Buffalo, New York's easy. That's only 5 hours away.
I know we have like put our name into a bunch of festivals, but I know like we're still waiting to hear from, a lot of them haven't announced yet. You got the like is it like Supernova hasn't announced obviously what they're doing yet. We have Camp Pennsylvania is another one we set out for. Hopefully we can do that one of these times. Fest would be really cool to do this coming up.
We do have the big the Mustard Plug Home for the Scaladays tour, or the tour, the not tour, but the big, it's a big Christmas show in Detroit the day after Christmas at the Magic Stick, which is like part of the Majestic complex.
Yeah.
So that'll be a really big fun one. That one's with I think Write Ups and Dance Contraption. It's not Write Ups. It's K-Man.
And
I think it's Jay and the Trader. It's Jay Navarro and the Traders, us, Mustard Plug, obviously, K-Man in the 45s, and then it's the St. Thomas is opening the show.
Oh, that's right, St. Thomas. I was
St. Thomas Boys Academy from Detroit is going to open the show.
Cool.
That'd be a fun one.
And they're doing that. They do that three-day thing where they hit Grand Rapids, Detroit, and then Chicago. We're on the Detroit one this year. So,
have you guys ever been to St. Andrews Hall?
We have not. We just talked about that last night. We've played the Shelter, but not St. Andrews. That's
we played underneath.
It's one of our we played the basement, but
yeah. I think when I was on tour in '97 too, we played the basement too.
Nice. Yeah, Shelter rules. I almost like the basement more.
Yeah. We played with Telegraph there at the time.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Fucking rock.
Is there plans for a follow-up to Disco Lunch?
Yeah, it's what I just kind of mentioned that a little bit. There's no title. We have full, I think we've got most of the songs demoed that we're gonna start learning. It's up in the air what we're exactly doing. There was talk about recording like a 2-song single here in a couple months, but it may turn into a full length. We really don't know right now.
We're in this problem where we don't know what is the expectation of next year. So it's either recording is happening. Like we're going to release songs one way or another. We just don't know if it's going to be a little bit here and then a big one there, or if it's just going to be the big one. You know what I mean? Like we're in that kind of situation where yet again, a good problem to have, but also schematics of trying to figure out, because that's another thing too. Like we had the opportunity to do something amazing and go down to Gainesville and do this. Like, how do we recreate this now? Right. We kind of started a juggernaut with this kind of situation of like, we don't want to take a step back. You know what I mean? We want to be able to continue to give the ska fans what they want. You know, they want the best Boy Detective we can give them. So, but there is recording. We do have songs. Like that's not the issue. The issue is like how we're going to release them, if that makes sense.
And you'd work with a producer again, right? If that's the case, or maybe Punkerton wants you to work with a producer.
Yeah, that's kind of no decisions have been made. I did like working with Roger. I think he brought a lot to the table. He saw a lot of musical stuff that we're a little blind to, being so close to the material itself. He could be like, oh, this should change, where I would think, oh man, that shouldn't, because but again, he's got a higher level view of it than we do, so he can recognize things like that.
Right.
So I did like working with a producer for those reasons. We could probably get away with not doing it and still sound like the Boy Detective, but I did like that experience. So I would push for it, but not hard enough. It would not be a die on this hill situation.
Yeah.
Well, and that's it. Like I am a manifester. That's how I always have been. So there are things that I'm already manifesting, hopefully. But as for what we're going to do and how we're going to do it, because Nick and I have also talked about the idea of having 2 songs produced by somebody and then having 2 songs produced by somebody else. And you have the Matches came out with Decomposer, where it was a whole album, which every song was a different, producer. Obviously that's extremely expensive. And obviously that took them a long time to do. But at the end of the day, it would be a neat, Nick and I have talked about like this idea that like we're not guaranteed next year, right? We have no idea what's coming down. Even in this country is a perfect example of what garbage is happening right now. So like if we have an opportunity to do something cool, we're probably going to take it, but also like we have to be realistic about time frames and like because that's the other thing too, right? You got to think of okay, if we release this album, we got to have the albums done by a certain time so we can have the vinyls pressed and we can have because just like we're dealing with disco is going to be a little the vinyl is going to be a little late. Like we had to tell the fans that we have the CDs, but with everything going on, and it was outside of everybody's control. It was outside of the Boy Detective. It was outside of Punkerton's. Like we're just trying to float. Luckily, the ska community, for the most part, is like, do we get it? Like you're not the first, you won't be the last. This is kind of the new norm. Is vinyl?
Yeah, because more bands are doing it like you guys are doing it. It's more DIY.
Yeah.
So yeah, stuff's going to happen, and like you said, I think the community is super supporting of that and sees what's going on.
They will get the vinyl. It's coming. It's just it does suck that like we couldn't sell them at our 4 shows, but it is what it is. Like that's. Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, so there are going to be there. The plan is there's going to be stuff in 2026. I just don't know how much and when it's going to come out.
Yeah, very cool, very cool.
Yeah, awesome. 2 more questions. Where can we find your music, both physical and digital?
Go ahead, Nick.
Oh, I mean, we're on all of the streaming services. So I do definitely know we're on Spotify, Apple Music. We are just the Boy Detective everywhere.
You got a Bandcamp too.
We do have a Bandcamp. I know that there was some kind of with the distributor, there was some kind of thing where we couldn't keep the Punkerton stuff on our Bandcamp, but it's on their Bandcamp now, I think.
Yeah, you can go to Punkerton Records.
Yes, you can go to Punkerton Records Bandcamp. It's on there, and most of our stuff should be out there. I know the 5 record is out there, which is the collection of singles that we recorded over last summer. But yeah, everything's on every streaming service. Again, punkertonrecords.com. Jesus, I should know this stuff,
yeah, it's right? www.punkertonrecords.com.
Yeah, you guys have a link tree to all this stuff too, right?
Yeah, we do have a link.
Yes.
It's on. So yeah, our Instagram, you'll be able to get where you need to go. If you, that's generally the social media of choice for us. Right. But yeah, so we have a link tree, whatever. But punkertonrecords.com, you could order all of the CDs, records, shirts.
Yeah, that's where I pre-ordered Disco Lunch.
There you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's probably the best place to find physical media other than shows. You don't have to pay shipping if you get it at shows. Discogs. Yeah.
It'll be updated on our Wikipedia. Nick's working on it right now.
He's working on it right now.
Yeah.
Giving Nick more work. Okay, now any last words for your fans out there and the viewers of our channel?
Dude, thanks everyone for giving a shit about us. It's still weird for us that you do. It's not something we're used to. I've been in bands for 25 years, and this is the first one people have cared about. But we love all of you, and thank you for making this something we can do.
Yeah, I'd like to shout out Brandon from Punkerton Records. Yeah. He's been amazing helping us out, keeping us going. I'd like to thank all the bands that have taken us on their little tours to kind of show us to the world. I'd like to really thank our wives and our families for being so cool about this, because if they weren't, that would be the conversation about the struggles.
Be over quick.
And I'd really like to thank Michigan Ska. We wouldn't be here if they didn't push as hard as they do. Literally, our last show was a basement show, and they showed up early to decorate and to put up lights and to chalk the room. And we have sorry to all the rest of you ska scenes. I'm not saying this to fight. I'm just being honest with you. Michigan Ska rules and have been incredible to the Boy Detective. So I'm going to give some of the fame and some of this fame, like we're huge. I'm going to give some of the love that from the Boy Detective specifically to Michigan Ska. Thank you. You know who you are. You know who has been a part of this. And I'm very proud whenever you drape that flag on me, and I'll wear it in very, very proudly. So thank you. Everybody else, like, please, if you haven't listened to Disco Lunch, I challenge you to listen to it. And then the other thing is maybe you're a person that
Fucking dare you.
I will promise you this. If you come and see the Boy Detective play, you might not necessarily like the music that we're, it may not be your cup of tea, but I guarantee you'll have fun. I guarantee that. So like, if you really want to know, like, what's this Boy Detective all about? Like, come to a live show, figure it out. We're gonna try to get further around this year. So come to a show, drive. It's worth it.
And wear your disco clothes.
And wear your disco, wear your platform shoes and your
Angel Flight slacks, leisure suits.
I wore a leisure suit, but Nick said it doesn't count because it was not a suit. So.
It was a swoop. It was not a leisure suit.
I saw some posts about people dressing up for your shows, like with dazzles and sequins and stuff like that, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, my brother dressed up like a cop and beat the shit out of me and drug me out of the show for TANGC. So that was sick. That was awesome.
Oh my gosh,
that was. He threw him on the ground like
he kicked me, and like my brother is like the most like submissive person. Like would never harm a fly. And so like, but he's an actor. So I'm like, hey, I want you to put the cop, and we gave him a pig nose. And I was like, break up the night and like take me out of the show. Like, let's make a little theatrics when I'm screaming like there are no fucking good cops. And like he's like flashing a light in my face. And like he threw me down and he started kicking me in the side. I'm like, holy shit, Chris, you went a little too far. And they're like, he's like, hey, by the way, I got a stage name. It's Kaporky. And I'm like, holy shit.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, in another life, Chris was probably living his dream of being this horrible cop. You know what I mean? Like he was.
Oh, that's funny.
He was like, any way to kick the shit out of my brother. Like,
yeah.
So yeah, that like people have been really cool. Like, I'm sure we're gonna get like we'll have a whole garage full of disco balls by the end of this. By the end of like,
that'd be awesome.
There's so many.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Basement full of disco balls.
That'd be sick. Like a ball pit of disco balls.
Well, gentlemen, you had a really a long weekend, and I appreciate you guys. Mikey and I both appreciate you guys taking the time out from your families and your sleep schedule to speak with us. Can't wait to see you guys, whether it be at one of these big festivals coming up or when you come out to California, because we know that's going to happen.
We're going to try.
And one day to Hawaii, so Mikey can be there too.
There you go.
Even though Mikey does like to come out to Southern California sometimes.
I don't mind at all. I've been known to fly over to the East Coast too, so.
Hell yeah.
Even better. But thank you guys for everything. Can't wait to see what you guys have coming on next. Hold on just a moment. Got a question for you right after, all right?